on.
PettyPrattle.com presents the Dirty Talk Podcast, your podcast home for all things soaps. Welcome to Time for Your Appointment, a review of General Hospital for the week ending March 8th, 2024. We're your hosts, Angela and Toni.
How are you doing tonight, Tone?
I am fantastic. We had a fantastic week of television. It's just been a good time.
Our boy came back.
He came back. We missed Jason.
We did miss Jason.
That delightful maniac that he is. I'm kidding.
And
that chaos creator.
Right? I know. And he is just already stirring up all kinds of trouble.
Here's the thing. Everything that he does causes more questions. And even the answers cause more questions. And it's just good soapy fun.
It's great soap. It really, really is. And I mean, when I was doing our agenda, I could not believe how much of this week was devoted to his return, but involved so many things.
Yes, it's been a while since we had a really great umbrella story.
And this is an umbrella story. This umbrella story is really shielding the canvas from rain.
Yeah, I'm down.
Before we get to Jason, we should probably just things.
Yeah, let's hit it.
Cover a few other things.
Yeah, some of them were mildly connected and some were not connected at all.
Yes. Now, first off, Laura called Cyrus over to babysit.
Well, I don't think it was to babysit, but to have a conversation while she was watching the kid. Because Kevin wasn't available to watch the kid.
True, that's true. But it was still weird.
Yeah, I'm like, you can't think of another time to do this when the kid is not around, but okay.
Right. Yeah, well, it's been a long time, I suppose, since she was a mother and she's still learning to juggle it all again.
That's fair.
Or a mother of a young one. She's always been a mother, but since she was a mother of a young child, I guess. But then poor baby Ace popped a fever.
Which those babies are known to do.
They are known to do it. So they rushed him to GH. And
ironically, when they arrived, someone was already there being seen at GH by Portia and Liz.
And that was fun. Heather Weber pops up like a bad penny, that one, right?
She
it's so fun.
She's been complaining about her hip. That's interesting. I mean, it's so rare that they acknowledge age on a character. But I almost feel like, is that foreshadowing for something? Or is she using this as a way to sneak out? I was so confused by this random hip injury.
I'm wondering if, Ace is sick, Kevin is sick, and now Heather has her hip injury, but also has this rash and other symptoms. Is something brewing biologically for, maybe a May sweep story? I don't know.
Oh no, not another Jerry Jacks moment where he poisoned the water supply.
Toxic balls?
So juvenile.
Have more toxic balls?
Yeah,
or Burton's back. Maybe there could be another monkey virus because that monkey sure did like him.
Please, I almost wish they would do it again. I know
that was so hysterical. Either way, I'm down for it. I feel a resurgence of my old soap and I am loving it. And there's so many options. And for the first time in a long time, I'm asking these questions like, seriously, what's going to happen next? We don't know now.
And the thing is, the flow of the show is much, much better.
God. And I mean, there aren't those 15-second scenes. There aren't 9 bazillion people per episode because
There are a
for
few 15-second scenes, but they're balanced by having a lot more of the like
right.
full moment so that we can actually follow the story, and it's like a
Right.
lot less, it's a lot more show less tell, and that
Right.
balance is, oh my gosh, you can feel it immediately. Like we know that we're still dealing with a lot of the outlines from Chris and
Mhm.
Dan, but you can
Yeah.
feel a shift already. It's so
Oh,
impeccable.
absolutely. Corte has been tweaking dialogue. They
Mm-hmm.
were really stuck with a lot of the outlines for the other stories because they were so focused. Her and Patrick were focused, the new head writers, on crafting Jason's return story. That was their number one priority. But you could tell Corte had shifted, changed dialogue and shifted a few things.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Definitely, you could tell that. But all good stuff. It's all been
Yes.
good. And Heather seeing Cyrus even near Ace, get away from my grandson, and
Mm-hmm.
Cyrus and Portia's little thing. Portia got to say her piece to him, and we are never going to be okay. You held me and my daughter hostage, and I don't
Yeah.
buy your redemption. And honestly, who does?
Literally, not gonna
And
lie.
then, of course, Heather has a paperclip and gets to
They take
undo
her,
her.
they take her for like labs, and she comes back with a paper clip. Like, how does that make any fucking sense? Because they don't keep pieces of metal in the lab where you're getting like x-rays and things, like, because that could like completely cause damage to like the equipment and I don't know, the people. So where she
Well,
got the paperclip, I will
General
never know.
Hospital is not known for its,
Yeah.
crack.
Wide crack
Yeah,
medical knowledge.
right. But then there was the great, Heather escaped,
Mm-hmm.
corners Cyrus in the chapel, and she pulled out that surgical saw, and I just started dying laughing because that's what she has.
I'm just like, what, ma'am? You had so many options, and you go for a surgical saw.
Well, I mean, honestly, it is a fun one, I suppose.
It matches her wacky
It
personality. I'll give her that.
absolutely does. I mean, she was a serial killer with a hook with poison on it. So, surgical saw, that's kind of her bag.
Sure, fine, whatever.
And then who saves the day?
Laura,
Laura cracks her right over the head, saves her brother, her very problematic brother.
like their
And
relationship is so confusing to me, but
it
I'm here for it at
really
the same
is.
time. I don't
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't know if they're trying to redeem him or setting her up to look like an idiot or what, but I'm here for it all.
I'm pretty sure it's the second one because I don't think for 1 second Cyrus is being redeemed. I really don't.
And she has terrible taste in men.
Oh my God. She
So,
has the absolute, if they're not a Cassadine, Laura's not seeing it coming.
yeah.
She believes in the redemptive power, and that's that's on brand for Laura.
Yeah. I know we
you
talk
know
about himbos on here, but she's definitely on the list of bimbos as far as like
she just, yeah, about
she's
being
she
stupid
when
for
she's
somebody.
smart and
Yeah,
she's inventive when she's like that, she's great at that, but it's not
right.
necessarily her wheelhouse on a regular day. Like that's her
Absolutely.
wheelhouse when like the house is falling down and we need to get
Right.
everybody out. But
Yeah.
like on a regular day when the house is on good standing, she's going to be the one who probably brought it down in the first place.
I mean, or
She
she
is
brought in the
not a
bad
bright.
shady architect who's,
Fucked up the wiring and ended up
weakening
causing that
weakening
place to.
all of the load-bearing walls or something. I mean, she
The
does
one
get snowed quite easily for somebody who spent all those years married to Luke Spencer. I'm just
literally,
saying.
literally, like,
But,
ma'am.
she saved the day and her problematic brother lived to problematic again.
Yeah. However, Tracy was not being snowed by anybody.
Brooklyn came clean to Granny
Mm-hmm.
about her plot, and her and Tracy had a nice moment.
That was
You know,
really lovely, to be honest.
and yeah, it was. Tracy admitted that the main reason she was pushing Brooklyn so hard is that she felt that the only thing they really talked about was business, so she wanted to strengthen that bond between them, and it was
Yeah,
a very Tracy kind of thing to do, and it was sweet. And then
I
Brooklyn got her to confess her feelings for Gregory.
Mhm.
And,
Oh,
Tracy, not big on talking about the feelings.
no, but she had a super touchy-feely conversation and it was perfect.
It
Like,
really
I
was.
couldn't believe how perfect it was.
Right.
It felt authentic to both the characters.
Mhm.
It felt like a growing moment for their relationship. I
Absolutely.
like the compromise they came to on the business front and
Hmm.
on the bonding front. And
Yeah,
watching Tracy be a little giddy about a guy was
I know.
wildly adorable. And I don't normally say that in reference to Tracy.
Jane Elliott is a treasure,
And is
who must be protected at all costs. We love her. And we love Tracy. Prickly and,
prickly
she
and
is,
messy
it's
and
really funny. She
a
is
lot.
so much like her father.
She is. She's
She's been
needed.
a
Like,
curmudgeon,
she is
or the female
needed
version of a curmudgeon.
to make the Quartermain family work.
Absolutely.
Um, because she is very much the Edward, and
Hmm.
that's been something that's very missing from the Quartermain family. That that person who drives them to
Hmm.
be messier,
Yes, exactly. And to
fight, and try to
remember who
build
the
the
hell they are.
family up.
Right.
Yes, she's very in touch
Exactly.
with the core values that Edward imparted. Now we just need to figure out who's going to be the Lila to balance her. And so far, ironically enough, it might even be BLQ. But you know what I would find even crazier if they decided to make Gregory the Lila.
Who?
Gregory?
Gregory?
Because the weird
Yeah,
thing
but
is they
he's not
feel
long
like
for the world, is
yeah,
the problem.
that's the only problem. Like, if not for his ALS, which I have thoughts about that, but I'm not sure I'm going to address them right now. I think I'll wait and see what more of the
Mhm.
story before I bring it up. But like,
I don't think they're going
if
to do a misdiagnosis if that's what you're thinking.
okay, that was my thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like it would he they feel like a sex swapped or a gender swapped Edward and Lila because
Yeah,
he softens her so
he
well
does.
without throwing out who she is.
Hmm. Absolutely.
And
I agree completely.
he is the moral compass for her to a degree, but
Hmm.
he's also a realist, so it's not like
Yeah.
he's completely lost every sense of
Yeah.
realism in his character. Like, he's not like a super poly Mary Sue or anything like that,
Hmm.
but it's like a perfect, you've got your curmudgeon and your good-hearted person, and they balance each other really, really well.
True.
And it hurts my feelings that they gave him ALS, just because this is easily one of Tracy's best relationships of all
Oh,
time. And
without
I
a
know
doubt.
people are going to be like, oh, what about Tracy and Luke? What about them? I said what I said.
Yeah. Yeah. It's different. I personally think,
Mm-hmm.
as I mean, the actor is so great and they have such chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally think, I kind of hope that they just keep them, if they're going to kill him off quickly, which I think they probably are, I'd be surprised if he lasts the year. Keep them where they are on that flirty thing, but not go past that. And then at the funeral, Tracy meets his identical twin brother.
We've been here. We've had this
Mhm.
conversation.
I
Yeah.
know. I'm just
In the
saying that
laundry
might
bay.
keep him around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just concerned about not having the same like, because if Gregory has a brother, he's still not Gregory. So it's like the concern is the personalities may not mesh, or the characters may, because sometimes when you recast or bring in a twin,
That's true.
the personalities just don't mesh the same, because it is a new character.
That's true.
And the characters matched and the chemistry worked because of who they were as characters. So yeah,
I
that's
mean,
part of why I'm still, holding out like an ounce of hope that they will misdiagnose him.
the
But
only reason, there's literally only one reason I think that they won't.
okay.
And that's because they said he was diagnosed at the Mayo Clinic.
Oh.
And I just don't see them saying that an actual renowned medical institute made that mistake. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? That's the
I
one
know.
thing that's been sticking with me, is that they say he was diagnosed at the Mayo Clinic.
However, misdiagnoses do still happen at the Mayo Clinic.
They do.
And Finn is a specialist in this kind of area, where this could be one of those things where, because he refused to let Finn check him out, they missed the misdiagnosis all this time, because almost everything matches up so closely that they had no reason to doubt it. And then he could have just like one symptom
Mhm.
that could throw that whole thing off, and they like, this is a weird symptom, I've never seen this with this, and then that causes them to dig a little deeper.
And I agree. I
Mm-hmm.
just am not sure they'd
Doubt
do
it.
it to the Mayo Clinic. Just with it, just
Using the Mayo Clinic would be like a
is
very
that's the
dangerous
thing,
game to
is
play.
that it's even
But
though any
we have
medical
a much
institute can have the problem.
yeah, but the thing about it is, we do have a much riskier set of writers, so they might be more willing to play that game.
They might.
So I'm gonna hold out a little inkling of hope, just a little,
Yeah. Hey, you know
enough
what?
that if
It's a
it
new
happens, I can
day.
be like,
A
woo
new
woo.
day is dawning.
Yes.
Hope is, there's hope for
Bring in
anything.
eternal. Yeah.
Yes.
So, I am
Mhm.
going to say I have an inkling of hope. If it doesn't work out, I won't be devastated, because you kind of all expected it
Mhm.
not necessarily to work out. But if it does, then I need them to make them kind of patriarchal figures for the Quartermains.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Because they are so well suited for each other
They
in
are very,
the
very
most
well suited.
unexpected way possible. It's wild.
Yes. Absolutely.
But two people who are not suited to each other.
Oh, are you talking about Alexis and her new boss
Yes. Oh my God. If
with
there were two more unsuited people in the world, good
with
Lord.
the pretentious gossip columnist that Nina wants to bring on, mainly just to target Carly and Drew?
Yes. That was wild.
It really was. This guy trying to turn being a gossip columnist into some sort of, I don't even know what that was. It was insane.
Trying to
And Alexis is just,
intellectualize being a
yeah,
gossip columnist was
right, exactly. Just,
not on
no,
my
thank
bingo
you.
card.
Right. And Alexis is just like resigned that it has to happen. And
Mm-hmm. And
yeah,
I'm just like, yeah, she knows that this is the road to hell, and it's not
mm,
paved with good intentions. And she
it
knows
is
that.
not. And she absolutely knows that.
But I'm just curious, like, when she's going to get off the ride.
I don't know, but I don't
And
think it's going to be long from now, because she's already ready to quit. because she, ended the week, talking to Diane about it all, and
Mm-hmm.
at the hospital and just telling her,
I'm go- yeah. And
yeah,
the thing is, I love Alexis and Diane's friendship. Like, Alexis
I
gets on
do
my
too.
nerves a lot. It's funny because a lot of people don't like Diane, whereas I'm the other way.
I
I don't
think,
like the
yeah,
Alexis side of this friendship, but their friendship together always hits the notes that
yeah,
it needs to hit. Like,
yeah,
they feel like girlfriends.
they really do. And I mean, see, I'm one of the rare ones who I adore Nancy Lee Ron, even though I do think she goes too far sometimes, and I do think she can be very problematic. But I like her outspokenness. I like a lot of things about her. I mean, not everything,
Mm.
obviously, but there are a lot of things I like about her. Alexis, I think, is borders on insufferable. Her, her lecturing anybody about, like, her looking down on Carly for her choice in men.
Ma'am, ma'am,
Really?
ma'am, you wish you could reach that high, considering the options that you've selected.
Right?
My God, today.
I
What?
mean, yeah, exactly. I'm just like, I'm not sure, that perch she's on is pretty precarious,
Oh, very.
is all I'm saying. So, yeah. And, she's just so far above it all. And that just annoys the absolute ever loving crap out of me. But Diane, though,
Mm-hmm.
because the thing with Diane is that, she doesn't cry to pretend she's, any morally better than anybody, even though she's not really bad. She defends mobsters and stuff, but she's not really.
She herself is not necessarily bad.
Exactly. But she doesn't cast those kinds of aspersions on other people.
Yeah.
I mean, a few weeks
For the
ago, she
most
told
part,
Nina about herself, which Nina totally deserved, but it wasn't a, holier than thou thing. It was a,
yeah.
who are you playing with when I know your history
Yeah.
kind of.
Like, you do all of this shit, and then you think that nobody notices that you do all of this shit, and then
Right.
you
Exactly.
expect me to just sit here and coddle you? No,
Right.
ma'am.
Exactly.
Absolutely not. And
So,
by the end of their interaction, we found out some news. So let's get started on the main ticket for the week. And the thing that shocked me the
my
most,
boyfriend's back and there's gonna be trouble.
hey now, your
Charlie's
boyfriend's back.
boyfriend's back. Sorry, I had to do it.
You're
I had
so
to do
messy. But the thing that shocked me
it.
most, I was so sure, we were both so sure they were going to wait till the end of the first episode. And
I
he
know.
was in the first
Opening hurts.
opening part, like the first opening part. Literally, just
And
1 second we're looking
you
at feet,
know,
the next second his face is in front of us. I'm like, what
and
is happening?
what kills me
Mm-hmm.
is that I mean, it's not a secret that I have
Mm-hmm.
been a Jason and Carly shipper since the first time
Time
they set eyes on
immemorial.
each other. May 6th, 1996, they had me, baby. I was hooked, never to return. I will go down with this ship. Seriously. And I was so mad at him when he left because he had just promised her that he was not going to leave. And then he promised her that they were in it together no matter what. And then that emotional Howard didn't even have the balls to talk to her privately about him leaving. Then he gets crushed under a tunnel. Oh, God. I was so mad at him for leaving. So mad. And then
Livid.
the first second I see him, I'm just like, oh God, he's got me. It's like, ironically, the mob. Just when you think you're out, they suck you back in, and this is what this, and it's 100% because of Carly.
Mm-hmm.
I have no use for this man other than that. But
He
I'm
serves
just
no
like,
other purpose.
she needs you so badly. It's about time.
Get your
So
ass
he's
in bit.
on that roof.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew as soon as the other guy was taking aim at Sunny that he was going to do something to stop it, which, because I can't have nice things.
Womp womp.
But
Down below, the cops are like trying to break up this conversation about poker.
right. And, Ava Jerome all of a sudden is a mobster again. And did anybody else die laughing when the bullets started flying and she pulls a gun out of her purse?
I cackled.
I
Because,
did too. You know what else?
ma'am, where did that come from? You have not been a shooter in so freaking long.
But
When did you become a shooter again?
and you know what? The really funny thing is that she held that gun better than the gummy bear mobster that she was there with.
The thing about
Another thing I thought was really, really funny is Sunny and Ava have bodyguards with them. The only bodyguard who do anything to protect their person was Selena Wu's bodyguard, who like covered her with his body and like pulled her to safety, moved her to safety. Everybody and the other bodyguards are all crouching behind things with guns. And I'm just like, good Lord. Why can't this man be killed? It's not like his people are competent.
my thing is like Jason trained these people and they used to be good at their jobs. They used to be good at their
Yeah,
jobs.
that all
But
went
you
away
let
with
Jason
Johnny.
leave for 2.5 you leave for 2.5 years and they're completely incompetent. And I'm like,
Competent anyway, because it all left with, I mean, the last competent guards were Johnny, Ronaldo. Remember those guys that Carly bought
Francis.
all the ties?
Mm-hmm,
Yes. Carly bought all their ties and they always loved her. And yeah.
mm-hmm.
But
But the thing is, we had Toni recently, my name twin. And
yeah,
we had a few bodyguards who seemed to be decent, but maybe they just stayed with Joss and stuff to make sure that his idiocy didn't trickle over. I don't know.
I
Because
don't
what the
know.
hell?
But it's
What?
just, oh God. But one thing we got out of that
Mhm.
warehouse scene, aside from the joy of Ava with the gun and Selena Wu's bodyguarding, and although I gotta say, Ava and Sunny both crouched behind with their guns. There was something there, and I hate, and I mean, of course, I will throw any woman in his path like you throw things at a serial killer chasing you to keep him away from Carly. But him and Ava actually kind of work. And I don't know if it's because I think she's playing him or if, Mara West has, chemistry with a wet towel. You know what I mean?
Literally.
But something
Literally.
is working with them for me. And so that's
Seva
good.
is absolutely
Yeah.
giving. And I'm
Yeah.
so confused because I'm like, I didn't think he was still capable of this kind of chemistry with another person. And I,
No.
I know that 99% of it is her for me,
Yeah.
but like he's actually somewhat engaged in it
But
as well. And I'm confused. And I'm like, why am I shipping him with anything but death? This is creepy for me. I'm disturbed.
I mean, I saw chemistry with him and Cynthia. I saw a lot of chemistry with Sunny and Nina, but it was also
I
their
didn't see sexual chemistry with them. I saw emotional chemistry with them. Like I
uh,
I feel like there's two types of romantic chemistry that I tend to see. Some people have both, some have one or the other. And I see emotional romantic chemistry between them. Like I
right.
can
It
see them
wasn't
as
like
a
hot,
romantic.
passionate.
Yeah, there was no I couldn't imagine the sex, and even when they tried to show it to me, I just wanted to run. Um
Yeah. But it
but
was like
with
that mature grandparent love chemistry.
yeah,
But you could
that
see him
it's
bending
like what people
Ava
think John
over
and
the
Marlena
sofa.
should be, but
Right.
isn't because they actually have sexual chemistry.
Yeah.
But Sunny and Ava actually have
Yeah.
sexual chemistry as
Right.
well as emotional chemistry. And
Right.
I'm very confused by the fact that I can see it considering my loathing of him.
Oh God. God.
It
And my thing
disturbs my
is, I
spirit.
like watching them, but at the same time, I'd be fine with her taking a gun out at any second and shooting him in the head. I'd
Yes.
be fine with this all being a scheme and she's taking over. And here's my thing.
Yes.
I want it to all be a scheme and she's taking over the mob, but when she finally tells him that this is what she's done behind his back while they were building this relationship, she's like, but I also fell in love with you at the same time. So this is what's going to happen. I'm going to run things, but I'm not going to kill you. We can just stay together.
I'm fine with. Oh my
You know
gosh,
what I mean?
This actually hurts my mouth to say these words. Okay, I can do it. I promise. I'm fine with that.
Right. Yeah,
Like, what
exactly.
is
She'd still be in charge and he'd be like, okay, yeah, all right, better than death. And, we're good together. So let's do this. I haven't been in charge in a long time anyway. It was always Jason. I was just kind of the figurehead. So, all right. But getting back to this week, because we'll have to see what happens with them. I mean, I'm excited to see what happens with them. I'm especially excited to see what's happening with them.
Ooh, yes. And we'll
But
discuss that more in a moment. But
yes, more,
since
yeah.
we're trying to keep it chronological here, Sonny
The
also
warehouse.
has incredible chemistry with his new rival, Jagger.
And did you need a cigarette after that takedown Jagger did with Sonny? I needed a cigarette after that takedown.
Not a dry seat in the house.
Not
What?
like my mama used to say, not a dry seat in the house. That was just, oh my God. And they
It
even had,
gave everything it was supposed to have gave.
and they even had him say, because he wasn't discounting Sonny's relationship with Stone. He wasn't saying it was all fake. He's like, even if everything you ever said to him was authentic, you still benefited. He wasn't erasing anything. He was just pointing out how transactional it was for Sonny. And it did redeem Sonny. Like one of the first things anybody says anytime they're defending Sonny is Stone Cape's Memorial Wing at the GH. And
Yes.
and that's exactly it. Exactly it. For years, we've watched people who hated Sonny simper over him and thank him for donations he made to the hospital and yada yada. And it's just, he wasn't wrong. Every word was true. And then there's Sonny trying to twist the history. And some people are like, it's revisionist history. And I'm like, it's not, though, to Sonny. He always paints himself as the hero, as the
I feel
victim.
like we are finally getting a full narcissist Sonny. And like they have been like sugarcoating the fact that this guy is a narcissist for so long. And they've been hiding it and carefully like shifting around it. But I think they finally realized that a lot of this audience does not do nuance. And they were like, okay, you guys need to see that this man is a full-fledged narcissist. So we're going to show you in stark detail how he sees things and why that's a problem.
I mean, he really convinced himself that giving Karen drugs, using
And
her
putting her
childhood
on a
sexual
pole.
abuse as a weapon, putting her on a pole was him trying to help her. I mean, seriously. And what Jagger said to Anna was spot on too.
Her guilt over not being there for her daughter has allowed her to canonize this man.
And he wasn't blasting her for not being there for Robin. That wasn't what he was doing.
He was pointing it out so that she would wake up.
That her guilt was causing this behavior. And he wasn't wrong.
He's not.
All. And Anna
it's happened to a lot of people because of Robin.
She stood there and cried. And then Ava defending Sonny was a little disgusting, but I still think she's playing him, so I'll allow it for right now.
My thing is, it's also kind of on brand for Ava because Ava is kind of the mirror image of Sonny.
Well, that's the thing, yeah.
In
Who
female
is Ava to throw
form.
stones about somebody giving somebody drugs or taking advantage of a person?
Yeah, I mean, she's literally the female chemistry riddled version of him. Like she's Sonny several years ago to be honest, like
Yeah.
maybe a decade or so ago.
Yeah.
Or
Oh,
more. Like
yeah,
she's
absolutely. Yeah.
the Pied Piper and the Pied Piperess have found each other
Yeah.
finally. And
And I'm gonna say Pied Piper from Hell was one of the best lines I've ever heard. Well, recently anyway.
really,
I love Jagger. I love
because
that
like
he's
we
on
could count the
contract.
number of young people he has twisted and manipulated and broken and like
Yeah.
made his like
Groomed.
made his shields and his biggest defendants. I mean, we have Jason and Carly and Brenda and Stone
Robin and
and
Stone
Robin
and
and
Karen and he even used Liz like that for a while
he
when she was
did.
young. Hmm.
He really, really
Juan,
did. Oh my gosh,
Xander,
want Xander, Emily.
Emily.
Oh,
Yeah.
he is genuinely the Pied Piper from hell of Port
Yeah.
Charles.
Hmm.
There is like
Yeah.
he was a good 10 to 12 years older than Jason and Carly and
Yeah.
Brenda, who were all about the same. Like Carly was supposed to be like a year or two younger than Jason. Brenda
Yep.
and Jason were the same age.
Yep.
She was 18 to his like 30 or something when he got with when Sonny and Brenda happened. So like
Right.
this was grooming. He
Right.
groomed and broke her. And then he groomed Carly and broke her. He groomed Jason and
Yeah.
broke him. Like he finds
And
these already somewhat broken and misguided young people and he twists them into knots until they snap, and then he lets somebody else put them back together, and then he keeps toying with them to keep them under his
well,
like control. He's so gross. He's
and
so gross. Can I go back to stripping him
recently.
with death?
We saw it recently when
Mm-hmm.
a while back when he was trying to talk Dex into killing Cyrus.
Yes.
That
Oh my gosh, that
entire
is such a
conversation,
perfect callback.
I was like, this is the conversation we never saw him have with Jason and Xander and you know what I mean, and those other men that he
Mm-hmm.
lured in like this. This is the conversation. He has given this speech before. And the way he manipulated that boy, oh my God. I was like, it was
It's just
disgusting.
it's so gross, but he was so good at it.
Oh God. Well, I mean, he's had a lot of practice.
This is true. This is very
So
true.
I think we're coming into a very interesting new era for Sunny. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
think we're coming into a new interesting era for everybody, but
Everyone.
I think we are seeing the Sunny that we were always supposed to see, but got lost somewhere.
In this whole good
Yeah.
guy bad business. I
Hmm.
I feel like
Yeah.
for a long time we were seeing Sonny's image of himself portrayed on
Right.
screen.
Exactly.
Whereas now we are
Now.
actually stepping out of his perspective of himself to see him for who he is. And I see that some of his fans are not taking well to that, but I'm
No.
like, this is it. Sometimes the truth hurts. Like,
And
this is
what's
something
funny,
that a lot of people have been seeing from him from the beginning.
right. And what's really funny is that, like, in moments like how what he said back to Jagger,
Mm-hmm.
we're seeing the same exact stuff from Sunny. But
Mm-hmm.
when it's held up to that mirror of reality, you
Yeah.
see that all of his BS was BS. And he has painted this picture of himself
Yeah.
that he sees, but the rest of the world, the emperor has no clothes, it seems,
Literally.
and they're finally allowing people to see that and call
Mm-hmm.
him on it that aren't a bad guy,
Yes.
and I like that. I like that they allowed, a couple weeks, they don't have Carly begging for his forgiveness after, just trying to keep his ass alive and out of prison. And
Mm-hmm.
they allowed her to roll her eyes at his cries of betrayal. you know,
Yeah.
and they had Michael, groveling a little bit, but Michael also got to say, listen, this is why I did this. This is what you did. And Michael might have, Sonny might have blown it off, which he did. Of course he did, because only, his sins
Only
get
Sonny
forgiven.
can be betrayed. Sonny is the only one
Exactly.
that can be betrayed by things.
Right.
You
But
have
at
to
least they're
understand
letting,
why he does these harmful things to you.
right,
But when you hurt him in return, then that's when it starts to matter.
right.
Fucking
And
narcissist.
I mean, and they even had Dante,
Mm-hmm.
even the slightest bit of pushback to his father saying, well, Michael was really hurt. And then Sonny, lashing out at Dante. And I like this because this is who Sonny is. I
Oh, I forgot to
understand.
add Dante to the list of people of young people that he's
Yeah.
Pied Pipered. Poor
And
Michael.
yeah, Christina.
Oh,
And, it's just, there are anti-heroes. Absolutely, there are anti-heroes. But that's not Sonny. He's
at all.
not a bad guy stuck in a good guy stuck in a bad circumstance. He's just a bad guy. And it's a soap opera. Bad guys can have hot romance. Bad guys can have storylines. But
Mhm.
trying to make him the mobster with a heart of gold isn't
Ironically,
working
that's
when he's also a narcissistic piece of crap who abuses
ironically
everyone around him.
Jason is the mobster with the heart of gold in the
Exactly.
scenario.
Jason is an anti-hero. Jason is the stereotypical anti-hero who does, you know what I mean? Because he doesn't beat
Necessarily
down
want to be
everybody
in the
around him.
yeah. He knows that he's got issues. He knows he's not the best
Right.
guy. He's not perfect, but he's got a good heart and he's
Right.
got good intentions and he's gotten sucked into this bad world that he understands he can never officially remove himself
And
from.
but Jason doesn't try to paint himself as the victim or the hero. I
Mhm.
remember even way back when, Alan calling him out on what he was doing, working as a mobster. And he's like, are you proud of it? And Jason's like, not particularly. But he doesn't paint himself with a halo,
Yeah, no, at all. He's
and, he
got a
doesn't try to play that role. He doesn't
he
try to play the
acknowledges
victim.
that he's not necessarily a good man. I mean, he may be a
Yes.
good man, but he's not the good guy in every
Right.
scenario
Hmm.
because of what he does. And that's important for an anti-hero. An
Right.
anti-hero that doesn't have an ounce of self-awareness about his badness cannot be an anti-hero. It's
Yeah,
a narcissistic villain who has basically created an image of being a good
yeah,
guy.
absolutely.
And that's the difference between Sonny and Jason, which is ironic
Absolutely.
because in that Jason Return package that Sonny did that they posted on YouTube, um, Mo actually points that out himself to a degree.
He
Like he doesn't go
does.
as much depth as we're going, but he
Right.
basically says, yeah, Jason's a bad guy, but he's a different kind of bad guy than I am.
Yeah.
And it is insane because it's like I never thought I would hear Mo admit that about them. And I don't know if Mo realizes what he admitted,
Well,
even.
that's the thing is I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure he meant it the way you took it, but we're going to just go ahead and go with it. Right? Because what else
Yes,
can we do? Yeah,
100.
so it'll be interesting to see if this continues because I think this is the new team.
I do. I'm loving the direction. I know that they are
Mhm.
on Chris and Dan. They're still working on Chris and Dan's outlines, but they
But
are
all
judging
of
it
this
and
and all of
shifting.
this is
Hmm.
Elizabeth and Patrick.
Yeah,
Everything around Jason's return. Yeah.
yeah. So like we can see the very clear hallmarks of the change.
God, yeah. And I mean, Jagger's speech to Sonny was just, I mean,
Iconic. I
absolutely,
mean,
without a doubt.
absolutely the most inappropriate possible moment to be doing it.
Right.
However, comma,
That's,
I'll take it.
kind of how it goes.
I'll take it.
Right.
And the fact that, you could see that it almost traumatized Anna to hear it in those terms because she'd been spending so much time with the rose-colored glasses. You could like Finola is such a freaking phenom of an
Oh God.
actor. The micro expressions that she was putting into this, watching her have Anna go through this almost nauseated experience of, I'm actually sort of been played through all of this.
Yeah.
And my daughter, I let my daughter be kind of groomed to accept this because I wasn't there to stop it. And I'm still allowing it because she needed it so much at that time that I can't tell her that what she felt wasn't real. And I'm just like, oh my God, it was such great work. Everything about that scene, from Sonny and Jagger to like the interactions around watching it, and like the way that they all turned to him. Sonny, Jagger was calling him out on shit. Like, did that happen? Yes. But I'll explain. Like, no, sir, there's no explanation.
There's no explanation.
But it was incredible. Yeah. It was also very interesting seeing Jagger be so sneery towards Ava. Because up to this point, he hasn't been like that with any of the women necessarily.
Yeah.
And he's kind of been a little bit more of a stuffed shirt to this point.
Yeah.
But it's like once he let down that wall, he's been a very different Jagger. He's been much swaggier.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we'll get more into that as we go on.
Yes.
So Dante was sent out of the room. After the shooting, Dante was sent out of the room with Chase, his partner, and
try to chase down the suspects.
Yes, chase down the suspects to secure the area. I'm like, I thought there were other police there. Why couldn't Chase have one of the other police secure the area and go with his partner? But I digress. We're not going to worry about what actual protocol for police partners is, because so suspension of disbelief.
Exactly, right?
So he can let his junior partner know that you need to stay and secure the scene while I run down these two, baddies with like WSB guns, and I do it by myself when there are two of them and one of me. Yeah. It's just terrible ideas all around.
He knows there are two guys, and I understand that when Jason turned around, he was shocked. But to lower his gun,
knowing there was someone else there, but the thing is,
there was someone else.
Yeah, I there's a part of me that can give it a pass because of the level of shock that was, thinking that this man was,
Here's the thing. I can almost understand it if this same exact guy hadn't come back from the dead just a few years, but less than 10 years before that. Should it have really been that much of a shock to Dante? But yes, so Dante lowers his gun, and then the other baddie shoots him with those armor-piercing bullets. And then, of course, Jason's doing his hero thing, and Steve had to love that scene where Jason got to shoot the guy who was coming up on him
from underneath his arm. That was such a well executed,
it
very Stone Cold-esque moment. Because
Daddy was home.
Yeah,
Daddy
that
was
very much Stone Cold, 110 toes down on it. I was like, okay, they when they like leaned into showing him playing with the catch on his gun that was on his leg, I was like, okay, is he about to shoot this guy so that he can't get to the rendezvous point, or so that he can't tell that he was the one who messed up the shot? Like, what is about to happen now? But he seems so focused on Dante too, so I was like, is he gonna kill Dante? And then the next thing you know, he's like, watch your six. And it's like, boom. And I was like, oh, that was such a slick shot underneath the armpit.
Yep.
And then I guess he got shot when the other guy pulled, because I didn't realize that the other guy had even shot.
Yeah. Well, I heard the other gunshot, and because the pictures, we knew Jason was shot. So, I had figured, but he wasn't acting shot until
at all.
That later when he, stopped. But before that, he called 911 for Dante, and took off his hoodie and wrapped it around him and waited until he heard the sirens. And
Made
just
a
as he gets out
really
of there,
tight pressure bandage,
yep.
basically
Oh
saved
yeah.
Dante's life.
And then he left the phone open to 911. And he got out of there just as Joss and Dex are showing up. And they take over and keep Dante alive till the paramedics get there.
Because
that's what they do.
Clear anti-hero behavior. But meanwhile, in another part of town, before all of this came down that Dante was shot, Ava, Sonny sent Ava away to go get the
footage from Spinelli
from Spinelli.
The feds could track it down.
Yeah, because instead of actually having guards around to make sure that they didn't get to the roof or wherever else and make sure that they didn't weren't able to shoot at him or anything, they decided to just make sure there were pictures there.
Yeah.
So that way, after Sonny was dead,
they'd know who did it.
They could then know who did it and try to track them down.
And here's my thing. I wouldn't hate this plan if it actually gave us a dead Sonny.
Same. I'm like,
I'm all for it. Whatever plan, this Roadrunner.
I appreciated your assisted suicide plan, and I was down for the cause, but of course, it got ruined.
Yes,
by our anti-hero.
But we did get to see Spinelli's very funny closet at the studio apartment.
Yeah, because they talk about it on the podcast and how it's so tiny.
But they have to use a handheld camera.
I like that he has a computer room. I love that they thought of that, and they did such a good job of making it look like spy movie computer rooms. Like when they have those little, they have their little layers and stuff like that. It looked like that. So it's I think they did a good job of turning that into that.
And Spinelli's going through the footage, can't find anything. Then he remembers that he had sent a drone up.
And on the drone is a picture of Jason helping the shooter.
He couldn't believe it. And Ava couldn't believe it. They were just like, oh my God, is that? And yes, it is. And then he transfers it to the tablet. And then Maxie shows up to talk to him because she's decided she does want to give them a chance. So Ava takes that opportunity to just scurry out with the tablet. Spinelli is just there with Maxie. And
we forgot about the scene that happened that was not connected directly because Spinelli, because Ava had to read Tasha, the riot act, Cody and Sasha, because they had been playing with her and Spinelli's love life. And she's like, well, look at a mirror and focus on your own shit, ladies.
Yeah, that was really funny, Maxie. Yeah, she's like, she's had it. She is done.
It.
Yes.
You're not fucking with my life forever. But yeah. So anyway, in the end, it leads to her going to Spinelli because that's where she belongs. They belong together.
Yes.
It gave me my life.
Oh my God, those scenes. First, he shows her the footage that it's Jason, and she can't believe it, and he can't believe it.
Because she's trying to talk to him, but he's in such shock that he's gone into OG Spinelli babble stage.
And she's like, you look like you've seen a ghost. And he's like, I have. It's just. And then Jagger shows up. Spinelli deletes the footage, or so he says. Jagger shows up. And places them both under arrest. And Spinelli's not going to stand for this because he can't have his Maximista, which, by the way,
the password on his back account,
it was just
being Maximista.
As he's
and the way her face,
the password, and her face is just lighting up, and he is just so horrified that she knows this, but she is just so thrilled.
She's so that's my Jackal right there. He
and then
loves his
Maximista. The kiss.
And for the first time ever, we officially see Spinelli willing to throw Jason to the wolves to protect his
Yes.
Max.
But here's the thing.
Jason would
Jason
approve.
would want him to. He would.
He'd be
Jason would
pissed if
want
he
him
didn't, to
to.
be honest.
You
It's fine.
know, and it was so perfect. And I loved the stuff with Jagger and Maxie when she tried to use her connection to Mac and he saw right through it and was just like, yeah, you're still under arrest. Yeah, that was just
They
great.
were
I absolutely loved that.
perfect amount of comedic relief with Spinelli and Maxie. And the thing about
Yes.
it really was giving me OG Jacqueline Maximiste energy. Like back when Maxie was mob with her Spinelli by her side, it was that old school energy. I vibed so hard.
And
loved it.
I
Loved
have
it.
not seen Kirsten Storms this engaged and
Lit up.
seeming so excited and lit up for being Maxie in a long time. And I'm loving this for her. I'm loving this for us. I just love for the whole thing. I'm so excited about
Oh,
this.
I'm
I
10
didn't even
toes
realize
down
how
for
much
this.
I missed them. I mean, I loved them back in the day, but I just didn't realize how much I missed them until I got them back.
Right?
So
Like
excited.
I realized I'm gonna go on record. I've been waiting for my Spixie since they broke them up the first time. And then they
Yeah.
kept putting her with other people and then putting him with that Ellie chick. And I was like, I get it. Give me my Spixie.
Mm-hmm.
I've been waiting for this. This is one of those like kind of like Jarly. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for you. And they finally gave it to me.
You're not giving them my milk song. That's
I'm not.
Charlie's.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm just I said like my
Yes.
Jarly.
Okay.
I'm just caught drawing the parallel, but like I was
Yes.
waiting. And
Yeah.
I feel like I'm actually glad they didn't do it before now, because if anyone else had tried to write my Spixie, I'm not sure they would have understood them the way they needed to be understood. They found the lightness, the humor, the intelligence, the heart that it makes them work. The quirkiness, they hit all of the right Spixie
All of it.
beats.
All of it.
It felt
And it's
fresh
like,
and it felt refreshing. I was so happy. I
and
was
their
Teen
chemistry
Girl
is still
squealing.
amazing. It was
Perfect.
just, yeah,
It
perfection.
was,
And I can't wait for more.
I need
Can't
I
wait.
need more. I
Yes.
need more.
I know.
And then meanwhile, Ava, as you said, Ava had run off, so she made a beeline for Sonny at the hospital. I don't know how she knew he was at the hospital, considering when she left,
Well,
he didn't know about the shooting, but
right.
we
Right.
don't worry. We won't worry about that. Suspension of disbelief.
Right. And she showed Sonny the tablet and he couldn't believe it. And then he did believe it. And then she just
The
was playing that
manipulation that
boy.
he put down was vintage Sonny. And I'm just like, not you getting sunned by another person and a woman at that, considering your disdain for the intelligence of women and your lack of respect for women, for you to get sunnied by a woman that you have disrespected
Oh
so
my
much.
God.
It felt orgasmic in ways, like, because she was playing the fuck out of him. And
God.
the
It
way she
was
was just, one second she was like, well, whatever you say. The next she was like very hard on this Jason angle. Then she would back off. And then she would dig in. Then she would back off. Then she would dig in. And then finally in the end, she was like, well, you know what? You know I'm better than anyone. I'm just gonna trust you. You know, I
and
trust
he's
your
like,
judgment no matter what. And he's like, you
I
know,
don't trust him all the way. I don't trust Jason 100%. It's like,
I don't trust anyone 100%
yeah.
anymore. And I'm just
And
like,
then
she literally gaslit him into distrusting Jason. That shit was
right?
excellent. Like, see, this is what I want. Like, if you're gonna villain, bitch, villain.
Right? And then
And if that's
the
my super
whole
villain power couple of the show, then so be it.
then so be it. Let them lean into it.
And if we
And
end up getting an anti-hero couple against a supervillain couple on the show, I will
we
absolutely shit
win.
my pants.
We win.
you will never be able to shut me up.
Yeah.
Ever.
Right. And then
now I will say one of my favorite moments of the week came before this moment with Ava showing up.
Mhm.
It was when they actually remembered their history and Olivia called him out
Oh,
about
did you have anything to do with
Dante.
this? And they did the flashback of Sonny shooting Dante.
That was chills all over, like full body chills. I was like,
You know what else I liked? I loved the touch of Olivia and Sam running into the ER holding hands.
oh God,
They were
yes.
together when they found out.
And they'd been having
And,
such a beautiful moment talking
oh,
about
yes.
Dante
Right?
and like bonding. And I was just like,
Yeah.
this is going to be a beautiful family unit. And I am
Yeah.
just stressed because we
I
already
really,
know what's happening with
yeah.
Dante and they don't. And I'm just like,
But
you
I
actually
loved
managed to get me in on
yes.
Sante because like I've been having trouble buying in on it, but like
Yeah.
it's starting to click with me. If you don't get me on like sexual chemistry, you have to get me on the romantic
Mhm.
and the like story points of family. Those are that'll drag me in even if I can't quite get there sexually with some, like with a pairing. And like with them having so many kids and being such a blended family, it was necessary to hit certain like familial beats to make it make sense in my head. And I feel
And I
like
get
they
that.
hit every single one back to back to back.
And I mean,
From the moment they brought from the moment they brought Danny home a few weeks ago,
mhm.
they've been hitting every family beat I need to make this couple make sense in my heart.
See, I've been on board with Sante for a while. I have. I
Yes.
thought they worked. I thought they made sense. So I've been there for a while, but I do see what you mean. I absolutely do. I think they've really ramped them up,
Mm-hmm.
and
Like I was just on the agenda ship. I was like,
yeah.
yeah,
No,
put them
I think they
containment.
really
I
do
don't
work.
care. Do
Yeah.
that over there.
Yeah.
Ironically, they're not the only relationship that I was like that about. That I think will be shifting, but we'll worry about that another time.
Yes.
But like, so anyway, that's why Sonny was in the chapel because
Yeah.
he and Olivia then made up, and that's where Ava
Mhm.
found him. But that's not the only person who found him in the chapel,
Well, not yet. First, he had that moment with Ava where they almost kissed, but then
right?
just hugged instead. That very
Why
charged,
did that
loaded
make me
moment.
fucking squirmy? I was disgusted with life because how dare you do that so well? Like the the
Yeah.
framing of it was really smartly done. The
Mm-hmm.
energy that was like sparkling off of the two of them
Mm-hmm.
was stupid, first of all, because what
Oh,
the hell
without a
did you
doubt.
just do?
You're right. I know. And then Nina
And I
comes
was
in.
just like, why am I hearing in my head the words kiss him, kiss him, kiss him? But
Nobody should ever be saying that
I
about that
cannot
man.
tell
Yes.
you the last time I legitimately rooted for him to kiss someone. I can't tell you, like, not
Yeah.
no
I know.
agendas, nothing. Just rooting for them to just
I
smash their
know.
faces against each other.
I know. I have.
Normally, I'm only rooting for him with death. I was disturbed by how much I want this to happen. At the
Yeah.
same time, I want her to be fucking him over. I want him to be fucking her. What is wrong with me? This is the writing I've been needing. This is the storytelling I've been needing.
Yes. And then
Why am I able to root for Sonny
I
fucking
know.
Corinthos in any aspect? Like this is a problem for me. Oh my god. Oh my god.
And then
Tense. And 2 seconds
Olivia
later, Olivia
comes in
pops up.
first, right?
Mm-hmm.
And says Dante's, whatever, he's
Being
out of
moved to her
surgery,
his
will
room.
be
Yeah.
moved to his room. Yeah. So Sonny goes, and Nina's standing there at the chapel door as they open it. And
Uh-huh.
Sonny just freaking
Sees
pays her
her and
no
it's just like,
mind and just
why is
No.
she here again? And
Right.
then walks past her, like, as she's
Right.
talking, practically.
And then,
And
poor awkward
Olivia's
Olivia is
face
just like,
is like,
I'm
did that just fucking happen?
gonna go and go.
Because that was creepy and
Yeah.
disturbing. I don't want to be a part of
Yeah.
this. And he was looking like, I want to be anywhere but here. How can I also escape this situation?
And he was like, you can't escape me. We're besties. You have to help me save my marriage. And Ava's
Not the
flashing
Coraline voice.
back. Anyway, Ava's flashing back to the near kiss, and I will, I promise, and having that awkward hug with her bestie.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
If we go with the idea that she is trying to manipulate Sunny and she is up to something with Sunny, I think that she's losing herself in the game. And so she's thinking, if I help her get her man back, it will help me refocus on what my actual goals are
Yeah.
instead of getting like seduced by the snake that I'm trying to kill, basically.
Right. Right.
So I think that she's caught between
Yeah.
her agenda and her actual falling for this man for the first time ever. Because, like, we need to remember Avery was not made in love,
Oh, God, no.
she was made in rage
Yeah. In a crypt.
in front of the person who died.
Yes, because the last time Ava played Sunny.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's
So,
just, whew.
right. Yeah, exactly. So it's a whole mess. I mean, I was hoping that Ava was playing Nina, but she kind of looked like she was feeling guilty. So I don't think that that's what's happening, which sadly for me, but whatever.
I
It's
didn't
fine.
necessarily get guilt off of it, at least not towards Nina. I got guilt in the sense that, shit, I'm losing focus on my goal.
I'll take that. I'll take that because that still gives me a chance of having what I want with her. Either way, Nina's going to be hurt by it, so that's a win.
I'm
Um,
supporting that.
yeah,
My
yeah.
thing is I need Nina's full focus to shift to Ava.
Oh, amen. Amen. Let her focus shift. Carly doesn't want to pay her any mind. Let her have a new target
Yeah.
and let it be
Like
Ava.
I need
Fine by
her, yeah.
yeah.
I need her to like Carly has not been feeding this feud, but she has been like eating off these scraps. Here's a new feud for you to focus on. The one with your
Exactly.
best friend that you will not see coming.
Right. Your best friend who, had slept with your other husband too.
Is not above doing this because she's done it before.
Right. You guys have that history where you got past it, but now she's doing it again. So works for
But then
me.
you also, tried to steal her baby right out of her womb. So, the,
Fair,
the thought that
fair,
you
even
guys are
Steven.
somehow best friends is wildly delusional, in my mind. So if the
I
writers are finally playing that beat, then I will be so freaking
Mhm.
happy.
Me too. I agree with that. So we'll see where that's going.
Yeah. Now
And
there's a vigil at the hospital for Dante.
and
The
Sam is
kids are
trying
all
to
at
be
Quartermaines,
strong.
but
Sam's
yes,
trying to be strong for Olivia. And there were a lot of
and
complaints
stoic.
about it, but I think, she was trying to hold it together because somebody had to, and it couldn't be Olivia. And she knows that that's what Dante would want. I think it was all out of, and she was a little bit in shock,
Yeah, I
that,
did get the shock. I
yeah.
guess I understood that she was trying to be stoic.
Mhm.
I don't necessarily feel like the performance was my favorite.
No,
Um,
mine either. But,
but I get what was trying to be given.
right,
I comprehend it, even if I didn't necessarily love it.
right.
I feel when she started to actually react at the very bitter end of the week, that's when I started to kind of really connect with her again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, also there were some charming moments in the midst of that vigil. Um,
Brooklyn and
I
Chase.
did Brooklyn and Chase was one of them, yes.
Mm-hmm.
they had some really real moments and some really real conversation that
Hmm.
has been so desperately missing from their relationship.
Yes.
I also enjoyed the way that Portia called Curtis, like the
Yes.
way that that kind of like
Hmm.
triggered her. This whole situation has triggered her, and so
Yeah.
it led to her having to call him and just hear his voice and know that he's not
Yeah.
the one who's in this situation.
Right.
It
Well,
reminds me of
no,
like there's a
yeah.
lot of TV shows with cops on them where if some or hospital shows or whatever, where if someone who reminds them of a family member passes, they just,
Hmm.
you'll find them call in the middle of the night to wake up that family member who reminds them of them
Right.
and be like, I just needed to hear your voice. And that's when you always know something really bad happened. And it felt
Right.
like authentic
Yeah.
for her to do that. And I like
Mhm.
that it kind of was a callback because it also reminds us that he and she are a part of this story, this umbrella
Oh,
story.
absolutely. I mean, Curtis was shot by whoever was trying to, kill
Yes,
Sonny at the warehouse. Yeah, it was, yeah,
absolutely.
it's all part of it.
Yes, it was all like really brilliantly and
Hmm.
subtly interwoven.
Yep.
Um, I also liked, and maybe I'm the only one who caught this because I really haven't seen anyone mention it. I enjoyed the way when she when Sam was talking to Portia, and it at first it came off kind of stoic. There was a moment where they just stopped talking, and she looked up at Portia almost as if she was asking for some kind of like guidance and like, what do I do now?
Hmm.
And that was like the first time that there was like a little bit of a crack in the like stoicism, so
Yeah.
to speak. Like, might not have been the best portrayal of it, but I did like that beat being
Yeah.
played.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that it was just, I think it was all well done across the board. I loved
Mhm.
the
I think
talk
some
with,
people shined a little bit more than others,
yes.
but
But
yeah,
I think throughout as it unfolds, I think that everybody will get their chance because it's going to be, I think, a very drawn out thing. I mean,
yeah,
the whole week was one day.
yeah, just
So
one.
there was that, right. And it's not over.
Like we went from Scout's birthday party where everyone's like living it up and having a blast, and you
Hmm.
know, Tracy and BLQ are having this cute moment in the kitchen and all this other stuff, and
And yeah, so really last week
like
was, a good portion of last week was one day too.
yeah,
The same
and
day
then
that
we
this
go
week was.
yeah, and so then we go like into this to this being part of that same one day.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
They've really
Yeah.
stretched this out without
Mhm.
making it feel overly stretched.
Right.
It felt
Right.
like fast paced at points, and it felt like it was alive. It felt like we were
Yeah.
following along with every beat of it. Like there were so many different directions we had to look, but it felt like every
Yeah.
direction was like fresh and popping and ready to like draw the
Right.
eye. I like that the kids are at the Quartermain so that they're at one central location.
And I
Um,
liked at the hospital, there was one moment that really cracked, there were two moments that cracked me up. One when Olivia said to Sam, you've been here for me, who's there for you? And Laura reaches over and kind of like awkwardly pats Sam's like really, really awkward. Like a and she's like, we're all here for her. But it was just such an awkward pat. And then
I
next
was
segment,
just like, it's
yeah, right.
happening.
It's like, what is happening? Laura doesn't know how to comfort someone. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and quick, somebody remind her that this woman screwed one of her sons, so she'll bond with her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
Ah, your
then
words took a second.
the next thing, we have Sam getting the call or on the phone and reinforcements. I'll send reinforcements, and then she talks to Laura, and she's like, "Laura, can I ask you a favor?" And Sam's like, and Laura's like, "Anything." She's like, "I'm really so touched that you're here, but can you leave?" And then just the weirdest way to say it.
They
And
have
then we see Laura showing up at the Quartermains to help Carly and Drew with the kids. But can you leave?
The way that they have written those two in connection with each other makes no sense. Like,
Really
what is
hysterical.
this?
And it's weird because they're like an awkward family because Laura is Nick's mother, obviously, and Nick
Mm-hmm.
and Sam are cousins.
And then
So
Laura
there's
is Lulu's mother, and Sam is
Dante is
basically,
right,
stepmom to Rocco now, which
right.
is Laura's
So
grandchild.
it is a very weird family connection, and you
Mm-hmm.
don't see the two of them bonded.
Yes.
But it is natural that Laura would be there and want to support her and be there. It
Mm-hmm.
was the
But it was
awkward
such
cat
an
was
awkward way of handling the
hysterical.
situation that it was like it lightened the moment in a way that
Right.
was very much needed.
But it was very real as well.
Another moment that
For the
really was very real and lightened the moment, when Alexis showed up for Sam and she had that go bag. She's like,
yeah,
I got clothes and snacks, and then she sent her up before she went to talk to Diane. And then they're in the elevator with Christina, and Christina's like, what kind of snacks?
snacks.
And she's
Yeah.
like, those are for me. She's like, what? I'm hungry.
Total sister moment.
These for
Total
two. I'm like,
sister moment.
and my thing is, one of my greatest worries with recasting the Davis girls was, are they going to be able to find the chemistry again?
Mm-hmm.
And they have somewhat struggled with Christina and Molly at times, but for
Right.
some reason, the Christina and Sam,
On
that
point.
one hits every time. Hits
Oh,
every time.
absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't know
Okay.
if maybe Kelly, Monaco, and oh my gosh, her name just slipped my
Kate
brain.
Manzi.
Kate Manzi. I don't know if Kelly and Kate are just like, they kind of vibe each other or something, but like
Yeah,
they feel like siblings.
right.
Like I
I
feel the
yeah.
connection there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, I do. Okay. I want to touch on my Brooklyn and Chase.
Okay.
I
Okay.
loved their conversation. Loved it. I thought
Mm-hmm.
it was, I mean, I like Brooklyn and Chase, I have, but I thought
Mm-hmm.
this was like one of the most authentic moments that they've had
Yes.
in a while,
Agreed.
especially after the debacle of him flipping out about the prenup thing. This was
Yes.
a palate cleanser in the best way.
It really
So,
was.
and I really loved, and he was just like, I understand if you can't do it. She's like, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm afraid, but I want to share that. I don't want to keep it from you, but I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. I'm afraid, but I am standing up to this fear because you mean that much to me. But I
Yes.
don't
It was
want
a
to lie to
conversation
you
that
about
we've
it.
been needing from them for a
Yes.
very long time. They
And
have been a very surface couple for far too long. And
it,
this was a very needed real reality check to
yes.
their relationship.
And this was okay, I see why these people want to get married and share their lives together. It was absolutely hit dead center.
Yes, it gave
Right.
everything that it needed to. Back to the kids at the Quartermains. We did mention that Laura went to the Quartermains to help.
Shows
They
up,
decided to divide and conquer.
divide and conquer.
So it was supposed to be Crew on Danny and then Laura on Rocco. And Laura and Rocco had a really good combo. It was
And I
cute.
loved the video game thing.
Mm-hmm.
She's trying to meet him where he is
Yeah.
and asking him, about the game. And he's like, oh, you probably don't know. And she's like, well, you never know. And then she takes her phone out so they can schedule video.
It's
I want to see what
cute.
she
I
put
thought it
in
was
the
cute.
note. And it was so real too, because she's
Yeah.
the mayor and she's a grandmother and she's adopting this baby and she's got all these things, but she's going to
Yeah.
schedule video game time. And I want to see how she puts that in her phone calendar. I really do, but I'm never going to get that. But that's what I wanted to see.
But that was hilarious. It was perfect and it felt real. It felt, I think that little actor who plays Rocco is really solid. He's really
Yes.
good.
And I was
And
expecting
then
to get a big conversation with Danny and Drew because Sam had asked him to talk to him
mm,
and he tried to, but it just,
he got a phone call and
yeah.
it ended up being Carly and Danny.
And I liked it. I really did. because, a lot of people were like jumping on it with the, Jason wasn't emotional. And I'm like, yes, he
He
was.
was.
The Jason that Carly met, we all remember. I mean, those of us who are watching
Anger
remember
boy.
Taggart's Nick. Exactly. Taggart called him Anger Boy. He rode his motorcycle into the queues. He blew up at people. He felt emotions very deeply, but they
He
came
blew
out as anger.
he blew up at freaking Lila back then.
And Keisha, I mean,
Yes.
he,
We
got
remember
into
the
the
towel
fight with
drop.
AJ, right? And it was just, he had a lot of emotions and he didn't know what to do with them because he was still learning that stuff. And it all came out as anger. And he blew up. And Taggart used to call him Anger Boy. Stone Cold came later. And what Carly was saying is that Jason learned to control it, learned the discipline. And it wasn't that she was saying that Danny had, when she said, you remind me of your father, it wasn't like she was saying Danny had inherited that. He can't inherit, that wasn't it. A lot of teenagers struggle with their emotions
Yeah.
and they have outbursts and they don't have the discipline, and that they learn. That's what she was saying, is that I remember your father having
Mm-hmm.
these emotions, not this is what you got from somebody who was brain damaged.
Yeah.
That wasn't
I think that was an important difference in how they
yes.
addressed it. Carly was like, "Yeah, your dad's been like that too. It's relatable." She's like, "I've been like that too."
Right.
She made it clear that this is something that young people deal with, and that this is
Right.
something relatable to her
Mm,
and his father, and so that she
right.
can help him understand that he's not weird or strange for that. It's
Right.
just part of life is learning that skill.
Absolutely. And you can learn ways to control it. You can learn that discipline. Like
Mm,
his father, who was all anger and emotion and outbursts at one point,
yes.
became stone cold, because he learned that
Mhm.
discipline. And it was, she, again, like Laura did with Rocco, she met Danny where he was and connected him
Mhm.
with him and helped him. And I had a feeling, I had the feeling watching that it will be something that will come into play later.
Agree.
But we'll have to see, you know.
I
Um,
agree. I agree. I
there are
feel like,
so many things that I feel that they're laying groundwork with, which I love
yes, because
because it's
there's
supposed
this,
to
it
happen.
feels like a spider web and right now. And it's been so long that we've had that kind of story. But I'm
God.
so happy that they're doing it. One of the things that we called out earlier was the Pied Piper from Hell. The funny
Mhm,
thing is, one of the things that Carly and Sunny had in common is their ability to relate to young people.
mhm.
Now,
Yes.
Sunny used to use that and use it in a twisted way, but Carly has always been really good with kids.
Mhm.
you know, Relating to them, meeting them where they live, because she
Yeah.
was a very troubled young person herself.
Right.
So her ability to relate to young people has always been stellar. And
Mhm.
this was definitely one of them. Now, I feel like the
Absolutely.
actor who plays Danny, I think he has some growing to do in the role,
Mhm.
but I have seen moments where it like really is clicking for him.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I feel like that conversation he had with Carly was one of them.
Yes.
So there's like,
Absolutely.
it comes and goes, but I'm hoping that we continue to get him in that growing direction
Right.
from here.
And Carly's care for this boy is, I mean, she's a mama bear, but especially because he's Jason's
Mm-hmm.
and Jason's
In
not
this
here.
moment, that's one of the last pieces of Jason she has, as
And
far as we
Jason's
know.
not here as far as she knew right now. And she's going to take care of his as though they were hers.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to take care of the people he loved and his children, you know,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of any issues. Like, and if it was Jake, she'd have acted the same way, regardless of anything between her and Liz, regardless of anything between her and Sam, although they've all reached a truce point. But
Mm-hmm.
regardless, she's going to, Mama Bear, the people Jason loved. Because it was like when she called Monica after Jason died and left that voicemail about, you know, how much, Jason loved Monica and wanting her to know that in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's Carly loves who she loves and everybody else can go jump, but the people she loves matter to her as well. And I love that about her. And a bunch of the people she loved were all in the same room.
They were.
Jocelyn and Jax went over to Michael and Willow's to fill them in about Dante and about, Michael already knew that Dante had been shot and was pacing at home, and Willow was trying to, make him relax, and he was having trouble with that. And Joss and Dex went over and, told him about everything that they saw happen. And Amelia woke up and Joss begged Willow to let her go upstairs with him.
Can I just say one thing?
Yes.
Joss's hatred of Sunny is one of her most redeeming qualities. And if they take that away from her, I will find them. And I will hunt them the fuck down.
Keeping her foot on that man's neck. And I am here
never letting up.
Because one of Carly's children has to, and she's the perfect one to do it. And
Agreed.
I love this. I love it, love it, love it. And every word she spoke was the truth, is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is, she has a burning hatred for him that is deserved through her entire life. But she didn't tell any lies.
Not one.
She didn't. And I love that about her. That girl is her mother's daughter in all the best ways, and keeps heat for Sunny in all the best ways, like her mother can't always or usually.
And used to. Carly used to
Yes.
have her foot the fuck on that man's neck like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
And the fact that somehow Joss inherited that, I'm gonna do something that I almost never do. I'm gonna thank Jax for that.
I was gonna say that was the thing, is that she keeps her dad's heat for Sunny.
I think that her dad allowed her to tap into the part of Carly who hated Sunny as well, and then just turn the burner on that man and never let up. And never. I know a lot of people are mad at her for being a hypocrite where Sunny's concerned. She will light this man up and then 2 seconds later ask him for shit. But I'm like, this manipulative, abusive, controlling asshat has been taking advantage of young people his entire life, especially young women. If this young woman wants to use and abuse and throw him away every day for the rest of her life, I will encourage it, support it, and love on her for it. And I'm going to ask that they never have it stop. I want her to bleed him fucking dry while dragging him for filth every step of the way.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, he's not used to people treating him like that. And he lets her get away with it.
Well, he doesn't know how to deal with it.
He's used to being able to flash a dimple or two and get somebody on his side. He doesn't know what to do with Joss. And the fact that she's not a damaged young person, that's not his skill set. His skill set is the damaged ones.
Right.
So he doesn't know what the fuck to do with her.
A lot of people think that he doesn't care about
But
Joss.
My thing is, if he didn't care about
Joss's opinion, but that's not true. He very much cares about Joss's opinion of him. He cares about everybody's opinion of him.
He does.
And especially
just doesn't know.
Should be adoring him.
He doesn't know how to fix that with her.
Right. and he doesn't like it, but he's not gonna just, it's not a, well, this is how it is, so fuck her. That's not Sonny. He's gonna, play the victim with it, with the whole, you know, whatever of it. But I love the heat she keeps for him. I do too. I like how, Michael's just not even trying to talk her out of it.
He's like, sometimes when you're hurting, it can turn into rage.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not saying I don't still hate that dumbass, but I
Right.
was scared.
Yeah.
So I'll give you that. I was scared. Fine.
Yeah.
No, but I freaking, like, you can never make me hate her. And I know
No.
that there's some people are like, oh, she's such a hypocrite. What is your point? Who on a soap isn't? She's
And
a young
really,
girl.
what
She's an
does she
errand.
want
She
from
doesn't
Sonny?
need
She's
him.
not asking him for credit cards or anything like that. Leave my boyfriend alone. Leave my mother. She's not asking Sonny for shit. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's not, the shit she
Everything she
wants from
wants,
Sonny is about
stuff
people
that
she
she,
loves.
yeah, keeping her family safe. That's
Exactly.
literally what everything she's ever asked him for has boiled down to.
Exactly. Exactly. So, whatever. And then I loved Michael playing good big brother,
Mm-hmm.
talking to Dex, about the whole, not leaving Joss thing, which I thought was a nice moment.
Big Brother. Ew. No, I thought you were talking about him and Joss.
Well, yeah, but he was being protective big brother of Joss when he was talking to Dex on
Oh,
behalf
okay.
of Joss. Don't worry, I'm not pushing my Dex as Jason's son thing right now.
Thank you.
That will come. That will come later.
Gag.
A lot. It's been here
Gag.
before. It will come back. But
Boo.
let us talk about our favorite moment of the week.
The moment of the week. The moment of the week.
The moment of the week, Carly.
The way that we all turned into teenage girls. Again, like this was the second time this week that we became teenage girls, but the pitches got higher and more intense.
And we knew
And
all
the
of it
thing
was
is,
happening.
they gave us a play-by-play of exactly
And
what was
it
happening,
was
and it still felt like a shock to the system.
wow. And just
She walks in, she looked so downtrodden by the day. I just want to go upstairs and lay the fuck down. And it
maybe
felt
take
so
a
relatable.
bath,
Who
held
hasn't come
on
home
to
and been
make
like,
me away.
yeah, you saw it. Like it was all over her. She's just like, I just need this day to be fucking over.
And
God.
I mean, Harley's been going through it.
Really and really.
She has been getting hit uh, uh, over and over and over. I mean, she's had a rough few months and
Decade.
more. But I mean, it's been,
It's been a rough
it's been
decade at this
nonstop.
point.
Well, true, but I mean, the girl hasn't been able to take a breath.
At all.
And she just, this was, her boyfriend's going through things. Her kids are going through things. Now this shit with, just one fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's these times
Mm-hmm.
for her that it's
And she
just in stark
normally turns.
relief to Jason. And she hasn't been able to do that. And she's been going through some of the worst things she's ever gone through. And over more on top of, on top of, on top of.
Mm-hmm.
And and
And
then
she's just going to the stairs to go upstairs and just try and find some little semblance of peace in her
and
day. And then that voice that she has missed so much, you can feel it tear through her when he
it's
said
almost like
5 letters, 1 word,
Carly.
Carly.
And it
You
was
can
so
literally
laced
see
with
it.
emotion from him too. And
The way his voice broke on it.
there was a moment where she just it was almost like she doubted that she had heard it and was almost afraid to turn around.
It was this the thing is what we're talking about is a matter of seconds. The number of
Right.
different emotions she played in a matter of seconds. Him saying the name, it tearing through her, her doubting what she heard, her turning terrified that she might be like mentally breaking. Like, is my mind snapping? Have I had
And
the
then,
like, have I hit my
right.
limit? And then
And
she
then she
turns
sees
and she's
him,
like,
but is
okay,
she
maybe I
really
really
seeing
have
him?
hit my limit. Am I gone? As like,
Yeah.
is this me losing my mind? Are they going to have to ship me off to Ferncliff again? Like, am I okay? I don't
Right.
know what's going on right now.
And then
And
she
then
realizes that it is actually him standing in front of her, and she just flies at him, and he is ready for he
you can
wants that
literally
hug
see him
just as
brace
much as
himself
she
because he's
wants him
like,
to give
I want you to. It was like he wanted her to fly through him,
and
and
it
if they went
just,
down, so damn be it.
oh my God, just boom. And the tears in his eyes, and they're just squeezing each other, and gunshot be damned,
And then that moment when you can literally see him let go of a breath of relief,
right?
like
That he hasn't exhaled in 2.5 years
God,
because his person
God,
was back, and her person was their people there, they were back together,
they
and
found
it
they were
transcends
home.
romance, family, friends. It's they are each
All of
other's
that.
person, period, end of story. And
They
to
are each
be
other's
back,
safe space,
yes.
and to
Well, it
be in
was
a
like what
such a
Laura
fraught
Frank said.
situation for as long as he was, which we don't know what the fraught situation was, but we know it's 2.5 years in the making of being
Right.
in this fraught, exhausting, emotionally draining because he looked half dead.
Yeah.
Like he
And so
looked
did she.
exhausted. Like it didn't even seem like it was all physically
Right.
inspired. He looked immensely and emotionally
Absolutely.
drained. Especially,
And
I want to give props to whoever decided the blue lighting because
yeah.
it really played up that level of exhaustion that he was exuding.
Yeah.
And then he gets her in his arms, and the breath he lets out as he lets her squeeze him, even injured.
Well, in the behind the scenes thing of his first day, that Laura Wright, when Laura Wright was talking, she said, for them, it's safety, it's comfort, it's home. And that's the thing, is that for both of them,
Mm-hmm.
the first thing that was ever home was
Was
each
each
other.
other.
When they came together as a family, before the romance stuff, when they came together as a family with Michael, it was home. It was family, and it was home, and it was,
Finally, a place where there was unconditional love,
yes,
unconditional understanding, the
yes,
masks come off, and they could just be there for each other and
yes,
with each other and support each other. And they didn't have to be what anyone else needed them to be.
right.
They could just be together. Like,
You know,
and he could feel needed, but he could
hmm,
also get what he needed.
exactly.
And
And
she could feel
he
like,
wasn't judged. And
yeah,
like he told her before, you didn't feel the need to teach me things. I didn't feel the need to learn. And that was
mm-hmm,
just, and because with all of that she gave him,
mm-hmm.
he didn't care how devious she was being with everybody else.
Because that was not
It
who they
was
were to each other.
exactly. And that has been an almost 30-year history they have on
Mm-hmm.
screen since 1996, and in canon it's longer than 30 years because Michael's 31. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So it's been over 30 years in canon, and
Yeah.
that has been who they have been to each other, despite anybody else they've been with. And it was just such a powerful moment.
It was.
And it was amazing. And then she realizes he's hurt.
And her
And
first reaction is
there's
to go get a first aid kit. But then
absolutely,
she
there's instant panic.
freezes and she's like,
I don't,
she's
she didn't
panicking
want
for his pain. And then she's panicking about the possibility that if she looks away for too long, he might not be there when she gets back.
right.
I think that in those moments, she was truly questioning her sanity.
Yes.
Because
And she was
if
like,
she came back and he wasn't there, then she'd have every reason to believe that she really had lost it.
right. And despite him promising her before
Mm-hmm.
that he was never going to leave her and then
Mm-hmm.
leaving her and dying,
Yeah.
she said, promise me you'll be here when I get back. And he promised her,
And
and
he was.
she believed him because it's Jason saying it. Despite the fact that he wasn't before, he did come back to her.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't in the timely manner she was hoping, but he had come back. And he was sorry it took so long, and he promised her he would be there. And she believed him and trusted him because that's what they do. And
And
she
the thing
went to get
about it
the
is,
first aid kit.
before they made their vows on their wedding day, there was another promise that he'd made that he would always find his way back to her.
Mm-hmm.
And this was keeping that promise. He might
Yeah.
not have kept all his promises, but he kept that one.
Yeah.
It took him a while, but he got there. And oh, chills all over my body. 10 out of
Yeah.
10, 100%. Give me all of it. Give me, like, the only thing that I had to complain about was that it wasn't long enough.
It wasn't. And then oh God, she's taking care of him. And she's
Ugh,
just like, I wish I could call Bob. I wish I could call my mother. And him, no, don't call Bobby. And then the realization that he
the
didn't know.
way that hurt on a visceral level.
It was almost like she lost Bobby again, right along with him.
It was like
You
she
know what I
watched
mean?
the emotions that it came across his face and she felt everyone with him.
Yeah, I
And
can't.
she was waiting for him to get to the other end of it. And I
And
was just like,
he died just, and his heartbreak wasn't just, I mean, Bobby was special to him,
she
but
was.
he also knew what Bobby was for her, and the fact that she had gone through this momentous loss without him
Oh, child.
again, because she had gone through the loss of Morgan without him, but at least that time she had kind of had the fake him,
Mm-hmm.
but this time there was no even fake him, and was just, oh God.
The storytelling that we have been getting, if this is just when they do editing and adjustments on what all was already there, can you
Well,
imagine when they have free reign and they're just like,
this scene was 100%, this stuff was 100% Elizabeth and Patrick.
no. I mean, I know
Oh,
this
okay.
one scene, but
Oh,
I'm
okay.
like,
You're
the
talking about the whole
storytelling
thing.
we're getting
Yes. It's amazing.
where
I'm
like they're
like,
having,
I can't tell you how excited I am.
I am so ready. My
And
body is ready.
but I mean, I'm also, I'm thinking back again about those scenes, and there were actually so few lines,
There was so little
but
time. There were
so
3 segments, and
much.
each one was like 30 to 45 seconds long.
But they seemed longer than that, but there was just so much going on outside of the dialogue. The looks
Mm-hmm.
they gave each other, I mean, the
The
feelings and emotion
desperation.
in the room were palatable, even on a screen.
Like, yes, they
I mean,
absolutely brought us into their world. We
and
got
then the
sucked into
knock,
Carly's world for real, for real.
right? And it was glorious.
I
And
want to
then
go
the
back.
knock,
I've never been so fucking livid at Anna Devane in my life.
Right?
Bitch, we got a reunion, we got a morning scene, and then it was over. Are you fucking kidding me? We barely got a chance to like live in this moment, and then you take it away. Bitch, I will be under your bed. I will be under your bed. How could you take that away from us?
But then Carly fucking Carly'd. She got rid of that jacket of hers that she was wearing. We didn't even see it happen. She got rid of the jacket that had blood on it, cleaned up the medical supplies, answered the door like she was being inconvenienced in the middle of the night. Like, what the fuck do you people? What is this?
Literally.
And then the way she acted surprised.
My bitch is the liar of all liars.
Oh
you
my
can't
God.
tell me shit about my bitch.
My God.
The queen of fucking liars. I dare someone to dispute it.
Right?
She literally gave us two completely different reactions to his return. Both 110% authentic, but one was a lie because she knew he was alive.
Right.
Oh my God, it was
oh my God.
Excellent.
And even Anna's going, isn't sure. Can I believe her? Does she really not know? We came here because we thought this is where he'd go. But does she, even Anna was just like, oh my God, I have never looked forward to a Monday more in my life.
Literally. Like, oh, the excellence is wild.
It's insane. And it was just the whole week.
Literally.
10 out of 10, no notes. Wait, no. I mean, it's like more Jason and Carly. There's never enough Jason and Carly, of course, but that was just all such perfection. It just was, and I want more of the story.
If this is shades to come,
right?
Then I want the entire box of Crayola.
Right. I'm like, this, I will take these scenes with them and they can drag this, I mean, I think we're getting Jason and Carly, but they can drag, and if this is what I'm getting,
right?
Slow build the fuck out of me. I'm here.
I'm sorry. That's where you lose me. Yes, yes, but no. Because
no.
28 fucking years, absolutely not.
But I'm saying I want to feel every millisecond of this.
But yes,
I don't want them to skip only any part of it. I loved 2021. And I've always thought when Jason and Carly fell back in love, it would be a light switch because everything they had gone through over those years. And it rang true for me because that's what it was. But now they have a whole other series of shit they have to deal with.
Yes.
They have to confront the Sonny issue. They have to confront him leaving. They have to, I feel that they put hate sex behind them. I feel like they have, Carly has shown.
Here's my issue. They've put it behind them, but they have not discussed it, and it needs to be discussed.
See, I think the scenes at Jake's were them discussing it. I think when he said, I think because they had the scenes in Liz's studio in 99. And then when they were talking at Jake's, when they said that they had put those feelings, when she was afraid of going back to who she was then and not getting it back from him and being resentful of it and him telling her, I feel like I don't think Sonny and Jason have dealt with hate sex, but I think they have dealt with hate sex.
Here's the thing. Normally, I'm always dragging other people for, not being able to handle nuance. But my issue is Charlie has always been hella nuanced. And one of their biggest issue is they live in the nuance. And so sometimes they miss key pieces of communication. And so some of their biggest issues, I need them to say it in stupid language. Like, I need you to dumb it down to me, explain it to me like I'm 5. Because I feel like in order to be able to actually breathe and be sure that they 100% understand each other and have fully closed the book on it, they need to say the words. Because my thing is, part of the reason that they shoved each other back into the closet is because they talked around it.
Right, but I don't feel like they did when she said
They
that.
did, though, for them.
See,
This is literally their MO. They don't say the actual words, but they talk around the issue, and then they think they understand each other. But then when a situation comes up, they assume they understand what the other person means, but they don't. And then they
I
make these
know, but
decisions
I
for
am also,
themselves and each other that end up blowing up in each other's face. I need them to be
but here's the thing,
explicit.
Toni, they had those conversations back then. They know exactly what each other's problems were back then. He told her, she told him that she told him what happened. She told him, and he said, and he told her, I can't
The
love
thing
you.
is,
And
I
they
get that they
put those
said the
issues back
words,
out there
but
when they couldn't resolve them.
here's my issue with that. Using the argument of back then, I don't feel like he ever fully understood her at that time, what she was saying, because he kept going back to, you did the thing that would hurt me the most. And the thing about it is, she's sitting here explaining, I wasn't doing it to hurt you. This was about me. This was about my pain. And he still, like, they couldn't find a way to communicate in a way that they
Right.
mutually understood. And they continue to, years later, talk around it, and they never had that full communication. And I feel like this is one thing we're going to never probably disagree on. I feel like they understand each other better than ever. However, they still have moments of miscommunication.
Well,
And
they're two different
assuming they
people. Of
understand each
course,
other.
they're going to. But here's my thing is that I think that my thing is this. I think that if Jason truly had still felt that, if he hadn't actually heard her and absorbed it and understood it, then he would not have been able to come back and be her friend, because he'd still think that she had done it purposely to hurt him. If he still felt that way, I don't think he could have come back and been her friend. I think he understood and actually heard what she said, and he had to leave to be able to deal with that and come to that.
I don't agree.
Okay.
I don't agree, because the thing about it is, the energy that he always gave was that she hurt him intentionally. Because even after that point, he still addressed it as if she hurt him intentionally, or he tried to twist it in his mind as they were in love even then, so it must not have been intentional. Like, it wasn't that anything she said was really the driving factor behind him accepting it. He created a narrative of his own in his head that would work for him, that they
Here's
were
something
already
that
in love, that they didn't, they just didn't know it yet. And so that's why. But the thing is, at this
here's
point,
my
we're
thing.
kind of
I don't
going.
think, see, I think that we have different interpretations of when he says things like, I gave you my family, or when he tells Carly, I stepped aside so you could be happy with Sonny. I don't think that was him leaving in early 2000. I don't think that's when he's saying that. I think that he's saying he stepped aside after he came back.
I know.
I don't think it's him saying
I
that he stepped aside by leaving in 2000, because that wasn't what it was for him.
I know. I know.
So I don't think he has rationalized it as them always being in love. I think he
But
came
he's
back to
literally
them.
said that when he came back, that you guys were always you always had feelings for each other. You just hadn't.
No, he didn't. No, he did not. He came back not knowing anything other than he came back still expecting that she was pregnant. And when they sat there at Jake, after he came back in 2000, her and him sat there at Jake's, and she begged him to go on the run with her and Michael. And she told him that she loved him. And he said, I love you too, but you have started falling in love with Sonny. He said that she had started falling in love with Sonny.
I don't remember the word started being a part of it.
It was at that time it was happening. And he didn't deny that she still loved him. It was that now there were now she was having feelings for Sonny as well.
Look, I'm gonna put us put a pin on this conversation with us because we are going way off the rails.
Okay.
And for one, and for two, I don't remember it the same way, so I'm gonna need to see to make sure I have accurate context for when we actually have the argument one day.
Okay.
So I don't want to like.
Okay. All right. So that was.
But in the end, it was a fantastic week.
Fantastic week at GH.
And it is giving me great hope and love for the future.
Yes, the skies have opened. The sun is shining on Port Charles and its fans.
Agreed.
And the little sun in the sky, it's just like the Teletubbies, how it was the little baby, but it's Patrick and Elizabeth, little faces in the sun. And now we've gone off the rails completely. Anyway, do you think?
So what I will say is this:
Toni,
we are going to pick top 3 things from the week that we want to highlight.
Okay.
Non-Jarly, because we both are going to pick Jarly as one of ours, so we can automatically take that off the list because that's our number one. But like pick 3 outside of Jarly that were your favorite things this week.
Sonny and Jagger in the warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
Spixie.
Mm-hmm.
In the little room and their whole little thing there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard for me to go between Carly and Danny, but I'm going to go with Brooklyn and Chase. Brooklyn and Chase conversation in the hospital was, my number 3.
Okay. Sonny and Jagger, because it was time somebody like really called him out on his shit. Spixie, of course. I'm also split between Carly and Danny, but I'm split between Carly and Danny and Tracy and BLQ.
Okay.
I'm gonna. Oh, this is so hard. I think I'm gonna have to give it to Tracy and BLQ.
Okay.
Just because this is such a softer, gentler, like that I never expected we'd ever see Tracy.
Yeah.
And they found a way to do it and make it make sense.
Right. Not like she's just suddenly lost her edge.
Yeah. Like she's had a lot of loss. It's making her like really want to reconnect with her family. It all makes so much. And then she's connecting with this person who's dying, who's helping her open her eyes to a different way of living. Like everything is making so much sense. Absolutely. So I love it. I can't help but like really love it on so many levels.
100%. Yeah. It was great. It was all great.
It really like there
great.
I had way more difficulty finding the things I didn't love than finding the ones that I did, because phenomenal.
So hopefully this is the path we're on.
It's clearly that we're on a fantastic path. I'm so down for it. Now, speaking of path, time for your appointment is a weekly path to recapping the week in General Hospital. And if you like the kind of content that we have to offer, with our podcasts, our articles on the website, what have you, then you might be interested in our Patreon. We have a patreon.com/Petty Prattle. podcast. And you get 1 day early access if you do the $5 make me holla tier. But we also have a free tier where we'll be putting certain free content. Our very first 4 podcasts for the 4 big soaps, our laundry day for Bold and the Beautiful, Young and the Restless, Days of Our Lives, and General Hospital are free to you. We'll also be putting other free content up, but we'll also be putting up other paid content as time goes on. Certain content will only be available behind the paywall. Some content will just be early access behind the paywall. So, come check it out, see if it's something that you feel might be a good vibe for you. And, if you want to give us a couple ducats, I promise it'll be much cheaper than buying a mobile billboard.
Oh, you went there.
What? What did I say?
Nothing. Nothing.
I digress. I'm teasing. I think that it's always amazing the lengths that fans will go through to really show support for this genre, and it's so needed. It's so important, and it's
fan
some people can laugh
enthusiasm.
at it and be silly, but it's important. It's why we have another soap about to launch again in the next couple years or so, because
Absolutely.
these amazing fans, love them or hate them, are so passionate and so,
Yeah.
engaged in the product. And it's such a valuable thing that we
And
have. So
it's just good for the genre across the board because it
yeah.
shows that there is fan enthusiasm and love for it, and that means there are
Mhm.
viewers. So I
Absolutely. I am down for the clown. Um, but yeah, so definitely check out our Patreon. We have other methods that you can check us out, Angie.
Our website, of course, pettyprattle.com, your go-to source for all spoilers, recaps, opinion pieces, polls, and all kinds of coming soon interactive content. We also have a Twitter and Instagram that we're building, a Facebook page, and we're just coming at you from all sides. Whatever your poison, we got you.
Absolutely. Well, it's been a fun conversation. I adore you, Angela. And we adore
I
you guys
adore you
for
too.
yeah. We adore you guys for listening. We will try to keep the conversation a little bit shorter going forward, but I just feel like the refreshing breath that we're getting from General Hospital is making it hard for us not to just our cup runneth over, so our
Yeah.
mouths runneth over.
Well, it's
But
not like it's hard to get us to, gab about things endlessly. But yes,
this is
it's
true.
fun when we have great things, happy things, good things to gab about.
Absolutely. So make sure you check us out with all of our weekly podcasts. Time for your appointment will also be for next week, uh, March 11th through the 15th, but this has been for March 4th through the 8th. And tell us what you think. If you have opinions, if you have agreements and disagreements, it's with your best shot.
Absolutely, we can take it.
Oh yeah, we're a fun bunch. We like it rough. But in conclusion, thank you so much for being here and listening. And I hope that you have a wonderful week ahead. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.